Hi, thanks for tuning into this video. I guess you are interested in the city of Budapest, and today we are exploring the streets and the wonderful architecture that the city has to offer. Here's the thing, if you look at tourist guides, they will tell you to go and look at the parliament. And of course that's beautiful, and we have the Basilica and we have the Matthias Church, but the city is also famous for the architecture itself. So today we are looking at the lesser known buildings. Let's make those buildings happy just by marveling at them, no? So most of the time, these are the kind of buildings you kind of find, and they are nice to look at. They are classic. And then there's this. What is that? I mean, look at the details, the amount of details on this one. It's bloody insane, right? This is when you say you're unique, but that doesn't mean that you're useful, or whatever a building can be. So that's the Mai Manó House, which is actually my favorite house here in all over Budapest, simply because of how different it looks from all the other buildings. Plus, the name Mai Manó comes from a very famous photographer who lived here in Hungary. His original name is Emmanuel, but he turned it into Manó. And if you translate that into English, that's basically the way of saying cute elf, which is amazing. By the way, if you are in the area, you might want to try out the Hungarian cuisine, but sometimes, just sometimes people, you want to either find good ramen, right? Because Japanese cuisine is amazing. And there is a very cool Japanese restaurant scene here in Budapest. And one of my favorites is actually here. It's Komachi. So we just made a brief stop to grab something to eat here at Freyja, which is actually one of my favorite off-the-track places, because no one really knows about this, but if you do like croissant, I would highly recommend it. What did you think?
Yeah, it was actually quite good. The pricing is what you would kind of expect from places like this, but every once in a while you just have to treat yourself.
Once when I was walking down the street and I was just waiting for a light to turn green, I looked up and noticed that one of those buildings that we just saw earlier was actually quite beautiful. And I realized that we don't look up enough, people. We look at our phones, look down, which makes sense if you don't want to step into dog poop, but come on, look up more because things are quite beautiful. So this was time for a little refreshment. We had our coffee at Madal, and if you are into specialty coffees, they're quite nice. So we reached the end of our journey. We are currently in the Szimpla Kert, which is a very famous ruin pub, and pro gamer tip, you should come here on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon, because then it's quite pleasant experience. There are barely any people, and the well-deserved beer. Cheers.
Cheers.
So Marty, how did you enjoy today's adventure?
Fairly good, I guess, at least for the walk that it took to get around the city. Also just to retrack everything that I used to see, especially in my younger days when I went to high school. Well, yeah, it was nice to look up for once at least, and just to get away from the greyness of the city that you usually see on a foot level, or at least on an eye level. So yeah, it was quite good overall.
Excellent. Did you have any favorite thing that you have seen, or anything surprising?
The usual stuff that I always used to love in the city, which is near Astoria, Calvin, Museum, Körút, I guess. Those places I think are fabulous, especially since they renovated it, or at least elevated it to its former glory, I guess, because it used to look good in the olden times as well. However, it was quite amazing how different these buildings look. It's kind of the same if you just take a glance at it, but if you check the minute details, it's extremely different from house to house even. And it's so different actually that it's kind of dizzying after a certain point, so you certainly have to take a break now and then. But yeah, it's just the variety that you can see on these houses and facades, I guess.
Yeah, and I think what's very cool is when I planned out this adventure for today, I already saw the main attractions that we will see, but in between them we found so many beautiful renovated buildings, and even the ones which are not really renovated, they were also very striking, very marvelous to see. And I also really enjoyed that we did this today. Hope you guys also enjoyed this adventure. Now is the time to say cheers to all of you, and hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye!
Bye! Oh God.
It's really cool that they have these ashtrays here, but why do you throw your garbage in here if there's like a garbage can right over there? I mean, what the f? And then there's this. Whatever that is. Where is it? Yeah. Then here at the Almási tér, we actually have Musicland, which is a pretty cool music label shop. And we cannot get out of here. It's closed. Gates are closed, people. Gates are closed. Cars. If you find one of these pocket vending machines, then maybe you can get some Hungarian literature. I just realized that makes no sense, because you don't speak Hungarian, so why the hell would you buy a fucking book?